For 7 years, the Israelites suffered under the cruel oppression of the Midianites. Their enemies swarmed like locusts, devouring their crops and leaving them in despair. They cried out to the Lord for deliverance, and God chose an unlikely hero, Gideon. Gideon, the son of Joash, threshed wheat in secret, afraid of the Midianites. But then, an angel appeared to him with an unexpected message. A dialogue ensues between Gideon and the angel of the Lord. Angel of the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Gideon looking skeptical. If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened? Where are his miracles? Angel, go in the strength you have and save Israel. I am sending you. Gideon, hesitant, how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my family. Angel, I will be with you, and you will strike down the Midianites as one man. Still doubting, Gideon asks for a sign. He prepares an offering, and when the angel touches it with his staff, fire consumes it. Gideon realizes he has seen the Lord's messenger. A dialogue ensues between Gideon and the angel of the Lord. Gideon, falling to his knees, alas, sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. God, peace, do not be afraid. You will not die. God's first mission for Gideon was to destroy the false gods in his own home. Under cover of darkness, Gideon obeyed, knowing this act could cost him his life. The villages start to ask among themselves. Villagers, who tore down Baal's altar? Man, it was Gideon, son of Joash. Villagers, bring him out. He must die. Joash, Gideon's father, boldly, if Baal is a god, let him defend himself. Gideon blew the trumpet, summoning warriors to fight. But God had a test. Your army is too big, he said, lest Israel boast that they won by their own strength. A conversation ensues between Gideon and God. God, tell those who are afraid to go home. 22,000 men leave. God, there are still too many. Take them to the water and watch how they drink. Most kneel to drink, but only 300 scoop water to their mouths. God, with these 300 men, I will save Israel. Nighttime on the hills surrounding the Midianite camp. Gideon divides his men into 3 groups, each with torches, jars, and trumpets. Armed not with swords, but with faith, Gideon's men surrounded the Midianite camp. At Gideon's signal, they shattered their jars, revealing torches, and blew their trumpets, shouting, "For the Lord and for Gideon." Chaos erupts in the Midianite camp. The enemies turn on each other in confusion. Terror filled the Midianites. They turned their swords against one another, and the survivors fled. Gideon pursued them, securing Israel's victory. Israelites offer to make Gideon their king. A dialogue ensues between the Israelites and Gideon. Israelites, rule over us, you and your sons after you. Gideon, I will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. Gideon refused power, knowing Israel's true king was God alone. Under his leadership, the land had peace for 40 years. Today, we will explore 3 powerful lessons from Gideon's journey. Lesson 1. God sees beyond our weakness. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Judges 6 verse 12. But Gideon didn't feel like a warrior. He saw himself as the weakest member of the weakest clan. How often do we feel unqualified for the calling God places on our lives? Maybe you think, I'm not talented enough. I don't have the right background. I failed too many times. But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Stop seeing yourself through your own limitations. Start seeing yourself through God's vision. When God calls you, He equips you. Lesson 2. Faith requires obedience. Before Gideon could lead an army, he had to obey God in the small things. God told him to tear down his father's altar to Baal and build an altar to the Lord instead. Judges 6 verses 25 to 27. Gideon was afraid, but he obeyed at night. Sometimes obedience isn't easy. Fear might still be present, but faith is acting despite fear. Gideon's small step of obedience prepared him for greater challenges. If we want God to use us for great things, we must first obey Him in the small things. Are there altars in your life that need to be torn down? Maybe it's doubt, sin, or distractions that keep you from fully trusting God. Lesson 3. Victory belongs to the Lord. Gideon started with 32,000 soldiers, but God reduced his army to just 300. Judges 7 verses 2-7. Why? Because God wanted Israel to know that victory comes from Him, not from human strength. With just 300 men, torches, trumpets, and faith, Gideon defeated the vast Midianite army. The odds were impossible, but God made the impossible possible. We often rely on our own resources, intelligence, or strength. But true victory comes when we trust God completely. The battle is not yours. It belongs to the Lord. Lesson 4. Step into your calling. Gideon started as a fearful man hiding in a winepress but ended as a mighty warrior leading Israel to victory. What changed? He trusted God. Today, God is calling you out of your winepress. He sees something in you that you may not see in yourself. He is calling you to step out in faith, obey Him in the small things, and trust that the victory is His. Will you answer the call? Will you trust that God sees more in you than you see in yourself?